Hello everyone. Welcome to the virtual class of Accounts of Underwriting Commission. In previous session, I have discussed a question of most important part of our chapter, that is related to firm underwriting. In order to practice and in order to clear any doubt, I would like to discuss one more question related to firm underwriting in this session. Let us discuss the question first. Samsung Limited issued 90,000 shares, each of rupees 100. X, Y and Z have taken the responsibility for 45,000 shares, 30,000 shares and 15,000 shares respectively. So at this point of discussion, we can easily find the numbers of shares underwritten by the underwriters, and on the basis of these numbers of shares underwritten by the underwriter, we can easily find the proportion or ratio of underwriting. It is 3:2:1, that is a 45,000, 30,000 and 15,000 shares respectively. They are also agreed for firm underwriting for the number of shares mentioned as follows. Underwriter X has given firm underwriting for 7,500 shares. Underwriter Y is agreed upon 4,500 shares for firm underwriting, and underwriter Z has given firm underwriting for 4,500 numbers of shares. The company has received applications for 60,000 shares, which does not include firm underwriting. On your screen, you can find the font in bold with underlined. The company has received applications for 60,000 shares, which does not include firm underwriting. It means that the applications received by the company from the public for 60,000 shares, it does not include applications made by the underwriters for their firm underwriting for 7,500 shares, 4,500 shares for Y and 4,500 shares for Z. Here the most important part is to interpret the lines given on your screen in a bold font with red colored underline. Out of this, marked applications were as follows. Marked applications for X, 18,000 shares. Marked applications for Y, 15,000 shares, and for Z, 12,000 shares. Determine the liability of the individual underwriters if credit for firm underwriting is not given to the underwriters, and if credit for firm underwriting is given to the underwriters. We have to calculate liability of all three underwriters in two different situations. Situation number one, when credit is not given, and situation number two, when credit is given. So this is all about the informations given by the examiner in our question. After understanding the question properly, let us move to the solution of the problem. Here, for the purpose of solution of this particular problem, it is necessary for us to calculate total numbers of applications received by the company. As the examiner has provided information to us in a different format. So the first and foremost step is to calculate total applications received by the company. Now, if you concentrate on the details given by the examiner, you can easily connect the information that applications received by the company for 60,000 shares, but these applications received by the company without consideration of firm underwriting. It means that 60,000 shares received by the company in form of application does not include applications for firm underwriting. But it is the case of firm underwriting, so it is a compulsory for the underwriters to apply for the shares of firm underwriting. So obviously they have applied for their own firm underwriting. Add applications by the underwriter for firm underwriting. X applied for 7,500 shares, Y applied for 4,500 shares, and Z also applied for 4,500 shares because they have taken firm underwriting for 7,500 number of shares, 4,500 number of shares, and 4,500 number of shares respectively. So in all, total applications received by the company for 76,500 shares. Here, before starting the solution of the problem, we have to calculate total applications received by the company, because in our question, total applications received by the company given with a condition, that is, it does not include applications for firm underwriting, or you can say it excludes applications for firm underwriting. So if you consider total number of applications as 60,000 shares, then it is absolutely incorrect from the first stage. So before starting our solution, on the basis of the information given by the examiner, we have to calculate total applications received by the company, and total applications received by the company is nothing more than that of total applications received by the company without consideration of applications for firm underwriting plus applications by the underwriters for firm underwriting. This is the first and foremost calculation of this question. So always read your question properly, interpret the informations provided by the examiner in the question. Once you interpret the details given in the question well, you can calculate everything with 100% perfection. Now, after this calculation, we are clear that total applications received by the company are 76,500 shares. Let us move to the solution of the problem that we need. Here we have to calculate total liability of the underwriters X, Y, and Z in two different conditions. So let us calculate for situation number 1. Situation number 1 is all about when credit of firm underwriting is not given to the underwriters. If credit is not given to the underwriters, what to do, that we know better. Situation number 1 is all about calculation of total liability of underwriters when the credit or benefit of firm underwriting is not given to the underwriters. As I discussed in the previous session with you, the words not given and given are important for us to understand and to apply at the time of our calculation. Let us move to the solution of the problem with situation number 1. We have to prepare a table, and for the purpose of our reference and clarity of idea, it is advisable to put the title in such a way so as we can identify the situation. A table showing calculation of net liability of underwriters when credit for firm underwriting is not given. So we have to prepare a table when credit for firm underwriting or benefit for firm underwriting is not given to the underwriters. As usual, we have to prepare a table with the columns as required for the individual underwriters, and at last total. Gross liability as per agreement. As we all know that information regarding gross liability is already given to us. 45,000 for X, 30,000 for Y and 15,000 for Z. If you refer the question properly, you will find this information in the very first paragraph of the question. Total number of shares underwritten by the underwriters in altogether 90,000. Less marked application. This is the case of credit for firm underwriting is not given. So we have to deduct only marked applications from the gross liability. Information regarding marked applications are also given to us. 18,000 for X, 15,000 for underwriter Y and 12,000 for underwriter Z. Total marked applications received by the company 45,000. Remaining liabilities for underwriter X 27,000, underwriter Y 15,000 and underwriter Z 3,000. Now we have to distribute unmarked applications to the underwriters in the ratio or proportion of gross liability. First of all, we have to calculate unmarked applications. Total applications received by the company are 76,500. If you remember, we have completed a calculation of these 76,500 before a few minutes. Total applications received by the company are 60,000 as per information given in the question. But these 60,000 applications received by the company without consideration of firm underwriting. But we have to calculate total applications received first, and we have completed our calculation with 100% perfection. So according to our calculation, total applications received by the company are 76,500. So 76,500 minus 45,000, that is a total marked applications available to us over here. Unmarked applications are 31,500. These 31,500 numbers of shares distributed to X, Y and Z in the ratio of their gross liability, that is 3:2:1. So 15,750 shares are transferred to X, 10,500 shares are transferred to Y and 5,250 shares are transferred to underwriter Z. Total 31,500 unmarked applications distributed to underwriters. Now X is in need of 11,250 shares. Y is in need of 4,500 shares. And the account of Z is showing surplus of 2,250. As we all know that we have to transfer surplus of underwriter Z to the underwriter X and Y in the ratio of their gross liability, and it is 3:2. 2250 surplus available with the Z that we have to transfer, that we have to distribute among underwriters X and Y. So 1350 transferred to X, 900 shares transferred to Y, and account of Z is settled with that. So net liability of the underwriters to purchase from the company: underwriter X 9,900, underwriter Y 3,600, and there is no general liability for underwriter Z. But it is the case of firm underwriting. So in addition to the general underwriting, the underwriters are required to purchase a fixed number of shares according to their firm underwriting. So we have to add firm underwriting given by X, Y and Z. The X has a given firm underwriting for 7,500 shares. The Y has a given firm underwriting for 4,500 shares, and the Z has a given firm underwriting for 4,500 shares. So total liability of underwriter X 17,400 shares, underwriter Y for 8,100 shares, and for underwriter Z 4,500 shares. And total number of shares purchased by all three underwriters altogether 30,000. So in this way you can calculate liability of the underwriters when the credit or benefit for firm underwriting is not given to the underwriters. After completion of our calculation with situation number 1, let us move to the next part of discussion. And the next part of discussion is all about situation number 2, when credit of firm underwriting is given to the underwriters. Here we have to concentrate on the word given. It means it is agreed upon the company and underwriters that whatever the applications received by the company from the underwriters for the number of shares for firm underwriting, the company will provide credit or benefit to the underwriters at the time of calculation of their net liability. So the word given has its own meaning, its own interpretation. Let us calculate the net liability and total liability of the individual underwriters when the benefit or credit of firm underwriting is given to the underwriters. When the benefit or credit is given to the underwriters, it is necessary for us to calculate total marked applications. I have discussed this point in detail during discussion of last question. Total marked applications, as credit for firm underwriting is given to the underwriters. How to calculate total marked applications? As I discussed in a previous session, it is a very structured approach and calculation for total marked applications. Underwriter first column, marked applications received from the public, second column, application for firm underwriting by the underwriters, third column, and total marked applications, fourth column. X 18,000 rupees of marked applications received by the company plus 7,500 his own applications for firm underwriting. So total 25,500 25,500. So total number of applications made with underwriter X 25,500, as the benefit or credit for firm underwriting is a given situation is different for us. Underwriter Y, marked applications received from the public 15,000, 4,500 for firm underwriting. So total number of applications marked including firm underwriting 19,500. Third, underwriter Z, 12,000 applications received with the mark of underwriter Z from the public 12,000 and 4,500 applications for firm underwriting. So total number of applications received by the company 16,500, which is considered as total marked applications, including the firm underwriting. Don't forget the situation. As of now, we are discussing both the situations one by one, but it may be possible that from next question onwards, we will discuss for any one situation. So we have to remember the calculation in different situations. Let us move to the calculation of net liability of underwriters. I have clearly mentioned over here that credit of firm underwriting is given to the underwriters. So we have to calculate under firm underwriting is credited to the underwriter's account. Particular underwriter X, underwriter Y, and underwriter Z. Gross liability as per agreement. We have discussed earlier 45,000, 30,000 and 15,000, total 90,000. Minus total marked applications or marked applications with a firm underwriting. For your reference, I have written this with the different color of the identification, because when credit is not given, that is situation number 1, we have to deduct only marked application. But in situation number 2, when the benefit or credit of the firm underwriting is given to the underwriters, we have to deduct total marked applications. Total marked applications are also known as marked application with firm underwriting. As per our calculation, total marked applications are 25,500 for X, 19,500 for Y, and 16,500 for Z. Total 61,500. Remaining liabilities 19,500, 10,500 and 1,500 surplus in the account of Z. Now, at this point of discussion, I would like to put to your notice that if you failed to understand the question properly, what will happen? Total applications received by the company as given in the question are 60,000 and marked applications are 61,500. I think it's a next to impossible that if you receive total applications 60,000, it is not possible for you to get marked application 61,500, and that is why before starting the solution we have completed calculation of total number of applications received by the company, and as per our calculation total number of applications received by the company are 76,500. So 76,500 total number of applications received by the company, of which total marked applications are 61,500 and unmarked applications are 15,000. So without understanding your question properly, if you calculate total applications as given in the question 60,000, then 60,000 total applications received, marked applications are 61,500, so unmarked applications are minus 1,500. That is impossible. applications cannot be in negative numbers, right? So if you calculate perfectly, you will get all the calculations very properly. So unmarked applications over here are 15,000. We have to distribute these unmarked applications to the underwriters in the proportion of their gross liability, that is 3:2:1. 7,500 transferred to X, 5,000 transferred to Y, and 2,500 transferred to Z. So total 15,000. Let us calculate the balance. 12,000 for X, 5,500 for Y, and surplus of 4,000 to Z. Now, as you all know, we have to distribute surplus of underwriter Z among underwriters X and Y because they are in need of 12,000 and 5,500 shares respectively. So we have distributed the surplus of underwriter Z to X and Y in the proportion of their gross liability 3:2. So out of these 4,000 shares, 2,400 transferred to X and 1,600 transferred to Y in the ratio of 3:2. You can easily calculate this 2,400 and 1,600. So net liability of underwriters X 9,600, Y 3,900, and underwriter Z net liability is 0 and total 13,500. Don't forget that it is a case of firm underwriting. So in addition to net liability of underwriters for general underwriting, they are also responsible to purchase additional number of shares as per the firm underwriting given to the company. So we have to add firm underwriting 7,500 for X, 4,500 shares for Y and Z each. So total liability of underwriter X 17,100, Y 8,400, and Z 4,500. Total number of shares purchased by all three underwriters altogether 30,000. So in this way you can calculate total liability of the underwriters when the credit or benefit for the firm underwriting is not given to the individual underwriters. I hope all of you are clear for the solution of the problem in both the situations. Keep watching the next sessions. Thank you. God bless you.